Hello guys, Nemox here, and today we are diving into What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Part 22. Before I start, remember to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you get notified when the next video comes out. Just a reminder, this part will be the final part before the story's pace will dramatically speed up. Now, without further ado, let's get started. With Naruto and Sasuke. After announcing his arrival, the Naruto clone reaches out his hand to help Sasuke up, but before his arm could even fully extend, Sasuke knocks it away. "Don't worry about me, just focus on the enemy," Sasuke says, keeping his head down. "Alright then, rest assured," the clone says, before turning around and joining his original. With Haku. Damn it, before I could finish the first, another one arrived. If I try to hide and recover my stamina, that first one will also recover. By then, I will be at an even greater disadvantage of 1 against 2. On the other hand, if I were to try facing the second one right now under these conditions, I doubt I can get the upper hand, Haku thinks as his mind races. As Haku brainstorms possible solutions, a strong gust of wind appears and blows all the mist surrounding Haku away, quite literally blowing away Haku's cover. Exposed of its location, Haku then leaps away to disappear from Naruto's line of sight. "Found you," Naruto and his clones think in unison, locking onto Haku's position. Just as Haku retreats backwards, dozens of clones appear behind him to form an enclosure all around. Once the clones fully surround Haku, they all launch a wind-style gale palm. Midway from their target, the numerous gale palms merge together to form a 180-degree wind attack, striking Haku from all sides so no force is dispersed. After the attack, the clones then close in and begin swarming Haku. Although injured and exhausted, Haku was still able to destroy the incoming clones with relative ease. Whenever the army of clones got too close, Haku would throw some of his senbon needles to keep the numbers manageable. These clones, they're endless. I can hold them off for now, but sooner or later, these clones will overwhelm me. How can that second kid have so much chakra? I can try to open out a path, but these clones will simply swarm me again. What should I do? Haku thinks, looking over at the real Naruto, who has his Sharingan activated and closely observing the situation. I can't go for the original either. With those eyes of his, he will see me coming from a mile away, and even if I made it close, there's only a slim chance for me to win. Then again, there's still him, Haku thinks, glancing towards the recovering Sasuke. Finding his solution, Haku quickly releases a massive amount of chakra to freeze the air surrounding him, creating a heavy mist. "Ice style, glacial dome," Haku adds, creating a somewhat opaque dome of ice that encases his surroundings. "What's this?" Naruto wonders, fixing his eyes on the dome of ice. "Where is he?" Naruto asks, as a cold feeling runs down his spine, immediately getting to a fighting position while quickly scanning his surroundings, waiting for Haku's sneak attack. Seconds pass, and Haku's presence is nowhere to be felt. This was when the realization hit Naruto. Haku's target wasn't him, but Sasuke! Naruto suddenly realizes, turning around and moving at full speed. Naruto desperately makes his way to the recovering Sasuke. Seeing Naruto coming directly towards him, Sasuke realizes that he is in danger, but it was too late. At this time, Haku's figure had already appeared behind Sasuke, holding a kunai pointed directly at Sasuke's heart. Shing! Blood splatters across the concrete floor. Just when Sasuke thought that he would have been pierced in the heart, he turns around only to see Naruto standing in front of him with his stomach pierced by the kunai. Naruto then falls to the ground after Haku pulls out the bloody kunai. Following Naruto hitting the ground, his dozens of clones also disappear into puffs of smoke. I truly dislike having to kill someone, but in the service of my master Zabuza, I must do what must be done. In all honesty, he would have and could have beaten me easily if not for you. In the end, you were just a liability, Haku says, wiping the blood off the kunai. Haku's words struck Sasuke like a truck. Past memories of him being useless resurfaced in his mind. Like that time facing the Anbu in the forest, Sasuke was completely helpless, being pinned to a tree like a rag doll. It was only with the help of Naruto that he survived that ordeal. Another time was just a few minutes ago when he was up against Haku. Sasuke was completely helpless when trapped in Haku's ice mirrors. Even by using his most powerful technique, the Chidori, Sasuke wasn't able to even break the mirror enclosure and escape. He had to once again rely on Naruto's help. And now, not only is he as hostage for others to save, but also his companion's greatest liability. It was because of his own weakness that resulted in his most treasured person's death, his last living family member, his companion that accompanied him since birth, and his lifetime rival, died to protect him. All these thoughts of self-blame for being weak and useless echoed in Sasuke's mind. Sasuke never in his life wanted to gain power as much as now. Very soon, the ever so strong emotions of sorrow, guilt, and weaklessness transformed into a burning will to get stronger, along with boiling hate for the killer in front of him. Sasuke's eyes began to burn hotter and hotter as a reflection of the greater rage stored within him. Now it's time for me to end you, Haku adds as he moves towards Sasuke with a kunai in hand. But right as Haku goes in for the killing blow, Sasuke suddenly moves with astonishing speed and precise movements. He quickly maneuvers the kunai out of Haku's hand while simultaneously sweeping Haku's feet off the ground. Once Haku no longer had the ground as a brace, Sasuke quickly elbows him in the stomach, sending him a few meters away. What? He was never close to this fast before. Was he previously holding back his strength? Haku wonders in midair, before seeing Sasuke's new and transformed eyes, revealing not one, but two Tomoes. Back with Kakashi and Zabuza. This should have been enough fooling around. It's time to get serious, Kakashi thinks as he pulls out a scroll and pushes it against the ground. Summoning, Earth Style, Fang Pursuit Jutsu, Kakashi chants in his mind. There's no point in struggling. Without your Sharingan, you practically have no edge against me. I also know your exact location, whereas you have no idea where I am. Your doom is inevitable, Kakashi, Zabuza taunts. Right as Zabuza's words landed, the bridge under Zabuza starts rumbling. What? Zabuza exclaims, as 8 ninja dogs jump out from beneath him, tightly latching their jaws on different parts of Zabuza's body, completely immobilizing Zabuza. What? How did you find me? Zabuza demands, confused of how the dogs were able to track him. You think you're the only one who can rely on senses other than sight? How does it feel to be held by my adorable ninja dogs? I didn't become an elite Jonin simply relying on my Sharingan. The dogs that are holding you down have senses of smell without equal. Your death is the one that's inevitable. Time to end this, Kakashi states, getting into a low stance with his left hand on his right wrist. Streams of lightning then gather around Kakashi, and before long, they all converge on Kakashi's right palm. Lightning Blade. Back with Sasuke and Haku. After awakening a new pair of eyes, Sasuke gains the advantage in reaction time and movement speed. Even so, Sasuke would constantly try to keep a fair distance between him and Haku, as, although he had an edge in speed and reaction time, his physical abilities were now relatively weaker due to all the injuries he sustained. Therefore, if he were to get into a brawl, Sasuke would surely be at the disadvantage. Knowing this detail, Sasuke made sure to jump aside every time Haku got within a 5-meter radius of him. As time went on, Sasuke continued to combat Haku with long-range weapons like throwing kunai, shurikens, and occasionally, when appropriate, explosive tags to deal damage. This isn't looking good. I won't be able to hold on for much longer. My wounds will get the better of me soon. I also need to get Naruto immediate medical attention. I can see that he's barely breathing. I must save him, Sasuke says to himself, forcefully pushing his injured body to the limit. I need to get to Kakashi and work out some kind of double team against Zabuza and this guy here. That will be the only way to end this fight soon enough to save Naruto, Sasuke thinks, calming his waves of emotion and stopping in one spot, preparing to go where Kakashi is. But what if you become a liability again? A part of Sasuke asks himself, making Sasuke relive the events of him being weak once again. This results in Sasuke having a split second of hesitation before being able to regain his composure. Taking advantage of this split second, Haku infuses chakra into his feet to generate extra speed. Covering the distance between him and Sasuke in a single leap, Haku prepares to deal a fatal blow. Sasuke, suddenly realizing that he had just let his emotions get the best of him, tries to lean backwards and jump away, but Haku's needles were already in front of him. Fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Right before the senbon needles made contact with Sasuke, a small fireball came flying through the air, burning the needles to the ground, whereas another 7 went straight for Haku, forcing him to jump away. Not knowing who just saved him, Sasuke turns around, only to see the person who he had thought was already half dead standing near him, clutching his stomach. Naruto? Sasuke yells, astonished as to how he was still alive. Looking at his stomach, Sasuke realizes that the wound has been completely sealed. How did your wound heal? Sasuke asks. I'm not 100% sure, but it probably relates to the nine-tailed fox within me, Naruto says, showing a slight sign of sadness. Lifting up his shirt, Naruto shows Sasuke the seal holding in the nine tails that was now visible on his body. That's right, the nine-tailed seal, Sasuke thinks, both thankful but also embarrassed that he didn't realize earlier. I don't know how you two are both alive, but you both already have one foot in the grave, Haku says, charging at them both with his senbon needles in hand. As Haku charged forward, Naruto took this time to create a few shadow clones before destroying them to form a smokescreen. Haku, losing sight of his targets, halts his charge and throws a few senbon needles to where Naruto and Sasuke used to be, but ultimately hitting nothing. Not knowing where the enemies were, Haku stayed alert of his surroundings when suddenly multiple fireballs appeared from the smoke. Haku jumps up to dodge the fireballs just to notice that they contain kunais with explosive tags. The explosive tags then explode under Haku, creating a small shockwave blasting him upwards. Naruto then appears from above Haku, coming down with a drop kick, slamming Haku towards the bridge. Then, before Haku could reach the ground, Sasuke comes in with a chakra-enhanced kick to the side, sending Haku quite a distance away, nearing Kakashi's fight with Zabuza. As Haku gets up from the ground, he immediately senses an unnatural amount of chakra radiating from the direction of Kakashi and Zabuza. This abundant amount of lightning chakra reminds Haku of the technique he saw from Sasuke. Master's in danger, Haku thinks. Right as the thought crossed his mind, a dozen of Naruto clones came out from the smoke, charging at Haku. Haku, with no hesitation, releases an enormous amount of chakra, creating a shockwave that blasts the incoming Naruto clones away. From then, with the remaining bits of his chakra, Haku quickly creates a single ice mirror and slips into it, disappearing from the scene. With Kakashi and Zabuza concentrating an immense amount of chakra, Kakashi's rapidly growing aura blasts away all the surrounding mist, as Zabuza stood struck in place, unable to move. This is your doom, Zabuza. Prepare to meet your dead brethren, Kakashi screams, charging at Zabuza. As Kakashi's lightning blade nears Zabuza's heart, an ice mirror appears before him along with a person. Haku jumps in the way, taking the blow for Zabuza. As blood drips slowly onto the floor, Haku's mask falls onto the ground. Both Kakashi and Zabuza's eyes widen. Heh, well, looks like your prediction has missed the mark once again, Zabuza taunts as the dogs disappear off his body. Haku truly was an amazing tool. Even in his final moments, he made himself useful. Now your hand's stuck in the corpse, Zabuza says, hearing the arrival of Naruto and Sasuke. Finishing his sentence, Zabuza lifts his giant sword up and slams it down at Kakashi, who simply leaped away, still holding Haku's body. Gently setting the body down, Kakashi looks towards Zabuza, making no sign of replying. Angry at basically being ignored, Zabuza charges at Kakashi, swinging his blade only for Kakashi to kick him aside with ease. Zabuza continues to attack Kakashi without reserve, but each time his attack gets countered and avoided with simple maneuvers. Why can't I keep up with him anymore? Zabuza asks himself as he once again charges at Kakashi, who just knocks him aside with a powerful backhand. Zabuza, extremely frustrated, furiously swings his giant sword sloppily at Kakashi, which is easily dodged. Holding the sword over his head, Zabuza slices down at Kakashi, who disappears, then reappears behind Zabuza with his hand on Zabuza's neck. Looks like you still don't know what true strength is, Kakashi says. You couldn't possibly imagine you could beat me in this state of mind, could you? What was that? Zabuza sneers as he swings his blade backwards towards Kakashi. Kakashi, reacting quickly, takes out 2 kunais and stabs Zabuza's right arm, rendering it useless before jumping out of the way. Now both of your arms are useless. You lost, Kakashi says. Well, well, well. Look at you, the mighty demon of the mist and the stupid little tool, Gato says, kicking Haku's motionless body. Humiliated by 2 children and a foolish-looking man. Honestly, I expected more from you, Zabuza, Gato says, as the mist slowly clears out, revealing an army of paid thugs, all armed with vicious weapons standing behind Gato. Now everyone, go kill these fools. Zabuza, realizing that Gato just turned on him, and at the worst possible time, gave out a defeated sigh. You win, Kakashi. The only reason I came after Tazuna and fought you was because of Gato. I obviously don't work for him anymore. You can go do whatever you want, Zabuza says, surrendering to Kakashi. Oh right, almost forgot about this peasant over here. Take this, and this. This is what you get for failing my mission and crushing my arm, Gato yells, walking and stepping all over Haku's body. Seeing no reaction from Zabuza, Gato continues to brutalize Haku's body before realizing that he was dead, which infuriates him even further, pushing him to hit Haku's dead body even harder. Hey Zabuza, aren't you going to stop this? Naruto asks with distaste. Just shut up, kid. Haku's already dead. Stomping on him won't make a difference, Zabuza says. What? So you feel nothing? Weren't you 2 comrades? Naruto says, getting angry. He devoted his life to you. You were everything he cared about. Just like how Gato used me, I used Haku. All he is now is a broken tool, Zabuza says, his voice slightly wavering. The rest of this will play out similar to canon. Although yes, Haku had nearly killed Naruto, and Naruto still dislikes him for that, but that was before he saw Haku sacrificing himself for Zabuza. After witnessing this, Naruto saw himself in Haku because he also has someone that he would give everything to protect. Due to this connection, Naruto just couldn't take it that Zabuza felt nothing for Haku's sacrifice. The rest of the scene will play out like in canon, and we will pick up right as Zabuza kills Gato. You're going to hell with me, Zabuza says, using his mouth to rip the kunai out of Gato's stomach and continuously slice at him before sending Gato's head rolling with the final strike. After killing Gato, Zabuza proceeds to exit the scene. As he walks forward, all the remaining thugs clear out a path for him. Zabuza slowly trudges through the path before falling down onto the ground. Believing that the enemy has finally been defeated, Team 7, or at least 3/4 of it, sit down on the ground to rest, exhausted over the strenuous day they just experienced. Hold on, this isn't over yet, one of the thugs yell. We came here expecting a good old payday, but now no one's going to pay us. We are now thinking of hitting up that village all of you are guarding, so if you don't mind, you better get out of the way, the thug commands in a threatening tone. Do you really think you can beat us? Although we are a bit tired, we aren't people the likes of you can contend with, Naruto says, activating his Sharingan once again. Ignoring Naruto's comments, seeing that he's just a kid, the army of thugs charge forward. Midway of their charge, though, a crossbow bolt comes flying through the air, halting the army of thugs. "There's one little problem with that plan of yours. You think we're just gonna let you rob our village?" Inari yells, reloading his crossbow. "This is our village, and we're going to be the ones to protect it," he adds. Seeing this, Naruto smiles, and proceeds to form a plus sign with his fingers. "Well then, why don't we add to our numbers a little?" Naruto says, using up the rest of his chakra to create clones that nearly double the army of thugs in numbers. This scene strikes fear in the hearts of the thugs. Realizing that the ninjas in front of them were truly not people they can mess with, the army of thugs all run back to the end of the bridge. They then start filling up the boats they arrived from to escape. When the boats became too full to fit more, the rest simply jumped off the bridge and were carried away by the heavy current. As all the villagers celebrated, Kakashi walked over to Zabuza's barely alive body. "It sounds like it's over. Is it over?" Zabuza asks, not able to move. "Yeah," Kakashi says, standing over Zabuza's body. "Hey Kakashi, I have a favor to ask of you," Zabuza croaks. "What is it?" "I want to see his face. Just one last time. Could you do that for me?" Zabuza begs. "Of course," Kakashi says. The sound of metal and wood hit the concrete floor as Kakashi pulls the multiple weapons out of Zabuza's back. Once all the weapons were out of Zabuza's back, Kakashi picks up his body and carries it over to where Haku lay. As Kakashi walked over, snow began to fall. "Hold on, snow at this time of the year?" one of the villagers say, confused. "Is that you, Haku? Are you crying in heaven?" Zabuza thinks, as Kakashi lays his body next to Haku's. "Thank you, Kakashi," Zabuza croaks, before turning to Haku. "You were always there next to me, to help me. The least I can do is to be next to you in the end," Zabuza adds. Zabuza, using all his strength to lift his hand, puts it next to Haku's face. "How I wish I can go to where you have. How I wish I can join you in the next world," Zabuza lets out in his final moments. As Zabuza dies, the sky clears. With the sun shining, the snowflake on Haku's face begins to melt, forming a tear that slowly falls from Haku's closed eyes. "You never know, Zabuza. Maybe you will join him," Kakashi thinks, looking into the bright sky. And this, guys, is where I'm going to end What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Part 22. Before you go, remember to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you get notified when the next video comes out. Also, just a reminder that the next part will be the beginning of the rapidly accelerated storyline. So, stay tuned because from now onwards, this series will be moving at turbo pace. This will be the end of this part, so until next time, see ya!